Hello, my name is Donggyu, and I'm in charge of the developing payment API in LineBiz Plus for the Pay Server Dev 3 team. I would like to thank you very much for visiting and watching the Line Dev Day online, even if it's a difficult situation with COVID-19. I'm also very pleased to be able to deliver valuable information about Line Pay, and I would like to talk about creating a more convenient payment world and the process of developing and operating cross-border payment APIs. And I'm going to talk about the situations that we experienced rather than the technical content. Let's start. Let me talk about the agenda. First of all, I would like to talk about what cross-border seems like for LinePay's perspective and the results that we achieved. Second, the important systems, the two systems of cross-border payment and the structure of those systems. And lastly, about the services that LinePay wants to reinforce and also the future direction that we have. Let's talk about the cross-border function of LinePay. If you're not very familiar about this notion, cross-border payment means that you can pay offshore, and before you go to a foreign country, you could exchange into that local currency and use the local currency or a credit card. All of these are a part of cross-border payment. And cross-border payment is possible using LinePay. Let me tell you about how LinePay has been preparing for this service. LinePay in 2014 was first launched in Japan. From the beginning of the product planning, we were early on wanting to support cross-border payment. And so we looked at the markets where the messenger service was supporting, and in 2015, we had established our subsidiaries in Taiwan and Thailand and started the service. But for this cross-border payment, we need the local service to be already be developed so that the foreign users or the people that are visiting the country can also experience the same quality and quantity in their service. And some people might think that this cross-border payment is done through direct investment, but that's not the case because the domestic users' transaction amount are usually a lot larger than the from foreign users. And therefore, we have developed and operated according to the needs of the local market a few years before the launch. And for localization, one of our purpose was about charging e-payment, which is e-money. And we call this LinePay balance in LinePay. For Japan, LinePay operates a LinePay balance. And for Thailand and Taiwan, different from Japan, they are partnering with other companies. So for Taiwan, they have a local partner called iPass, and for Thailand, Rabbit is the local partner, and they have created a joint venture called Rabbit LinePay. And LinePay is providing the support, its service through prepaid cards and by credit cards. LinePay can issue a card and directly, we call this LinePay card, and this is currently serviced in Japan. There's another service called co-brand card. So the co-brand card, when it's used, and then the user will receive points, and those points are given in line points, which can be used in the various services that are under our Line umbrella. Now I want to talk about the payment service. The checkout service is actually designed for Japan. When checking out, you don't have to write your address and your recipient information for each commerce platform, which used to be very inconvenient. And next is about the Taiwan Line Pay app. Yes, it is provided in Japan, but in Taiwan, they have a special service such as providing cash invoices, and these are reflecting the local users' needs. Thailand's Rabbit Line Pay is also providing a special local service such as line payment. If you look at the list, mobile and utility fees can be paid with this service. Lastly, transportation services. The Taiwan market currently is serviced with the traffic QR service, which can be used to take the subway. The user with just the app can take the subway. And Thailand's Rabbit Line Pay is currently providing BTS. The BTS is currently used for trams, and in the past, you had to get a token. But through Rabbit Line Pay, you are able to get a regular monthly subscription through the app. And now the users with just Rabbit Line Pay app, they can take the subway. Therefore, the Rabbit Line Pay has been listening to the local users' needs, and you can see that the amount of transactions have increased substantially. Now, a lot of the users have been telling us that they want to use the service as they've been using it overseas in domestically too, and therefore we have understood that there's a lot of demands for cross-border payment. Therefore, we need to process the currency of various countries rather flexibly. Therefore, we have created a multi-currency system, which is creating a system to process the request for payment of any kind of currency, such as the Japanese yen, Taiwanese dollar, and the Thai baht. And about the structure, I would like to talk about it in the latter half of my presentation. In order to support the Line Pay cross-border, as important as the multi-currency system is the payment ecosystem. The transaction amount of an overseas user, of course, is a lot smaller than a domestic user. Therefore, acquiring a merchant base for just overseas users is not only inefficient, but the overseas user might not want that selection. So we have created some scenarios of overseas users visiting a country, and based on those needs, we have created an effective payment ecosystem. So usually when a foreigner comes to a country, they would reserve a hotel, go shopping, eat at a restaurant, and those kind of needs have to be covered. So in 2019, what we really focused on was the partner gateway system. So what is a huge advantage of Line Pay is that after the release, we had focused on localization and created a payment ecosystem based on the local users' needs. And in Japan, Taiwan, and Thailand, we were expanding our positioning as a major mobile payment player, and the three countries worked as one team. So payment, refunding, and settlements were all provided with a API set, and a overseas mobile payment partner could just use all these services by using our payment ecosystem. And then through the multi-currency system, no matter what currency the user was using, they could integrate into our system very easily. So until now, I've been talking about the goals and the results of cross-border of our service in Line Pay. And now I want to talk about the structure of our system. Multi-currency system is as the following. So I have tried to create it as simple as possible for everyone's understanding. If you look at the left, you can see this is based on the time. So the online transaction layer, database layer, and settlement layer. You can see the horizontal line is about roles. So line pay merchant area, line pay settlement area, and the line pay partner system area and the partner area. So first, if the user requests a payment through the partner gateway, this will be created and this will be sent on to the partner in the settlement area. And this payment data is sent to the settlement DB and processed through the settlement system. Lastly, the results that were processed through the settlement system will be checked by the admin before they are sent on to the partner settlement system. Because this transaction amount is a large amount, the admin has to check it beforehand. Now, let me talk about the partner gateway. But before I explain about this, I want to talk about the QR code payment methods for your understanding. So the QR code, based on who presents it first, there are two types. One is where the user presents it first, and the other is where the merchant presents the QR code. So those are the two types that I want to explain. So let's talk about the user presentation method first. If the partner app user presents the QR code is read at the line pay merchant. And the QR code read through the affiliated store server, line pay sends it to the Crossborder platform. And then after querying the exchange rate information, the request payment verification is actually requested to the partner server. After the verification, this will be sent to the partner gateway, and then it will be saved, and then the Crossborder platform, the payment information saved, and the balance of the user is deducted. When the payment process is successfully completed, then the Crossborder platform consists of affiliated store servers and partner servers. These will be notified of the payment result. Next, I want to talk about the merchant presentation method. So the payment begins when the Crossborder user scans the QR code of line pay affiliated stores using the partner's app. Then the payment screen is displayed, and when the user completes the payment verification, the payment information is sent to the partner server. And different from the user presentation mode, the payment reservation is actually required. And at this time, unlike the user presentation mode, the partner server requests the payment through the Crossborder gateway. And it might look inefficient, but the reason why the structure is like this is because the exchange rate is managed by line pay and the account information of cross-border users is managed by the partner. So when the payment is requested from the partner server, after applying the exchange rate to the payment information, it is sent back to the partner server to request payment authorization. And then the notification of payment result after payment is completed, and then the approval is confirmed after saving the payment result. The payment is finalized after notifying the result. Until now, we've been talking about the reason why we started the cross-border service and the results that we have achieved. Now I want to talk about the future of the cross-border service as I summarize what we've been talking about. Based on what we've been talking about, you can well understand that we are at a very important crossroads for our user and our ecosystem. And as we've been developing our service based on local markets, we've also been building our partner gateway system last year, Line Pay partners, if they access our ecosystem, we want to support equal level of local services. And then the partners, through the partnership with Line Pay, means that their users will be receiving the same quantity and quality of services as they can in the local market. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation.